It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey fam, what's going on? Lee Sanders with you guys for this Monday night edition of the RCWR show for February 10th, 2025. What's going on, fam? I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Super Bowl has pretty much come and gone. Congratulations are in order for the Philadelphia Eagles. I have heard from quite a few colleagues and friends, even family, some distant family at this point because of them riding with the Eagles. But nah, it's all good. No, seriously, Eagles, congratulations. Better team won. I told you guys I personally did not care about this year's Super Bowl. But if you were to put me up against the arm and say, yo, Lee, you got to pick, dog. You got to pick who you got. I told you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Eagles. I just felt it was time for a shakeup. I felt that from what I was seeing of Philly all season long, I felt that honestly, when you get right down to it, that they had that dog in them, that they were more hungrier. So that was one of the main reasons why I went with the Eagles. I just felt it was their time. I know a lot of media and everything was pointing out the fact that there was apparently something going on with Patrick Mahomes. There's some type of illness with a family member or a death. Something was going on, and when I heard that, the very first time I heard that, I actually heard that from my wife, and I said, "Are you sure? Is this accurate? What you're hearing?" Because a lot of times she's looking at her news on Facebook, and I've said to her repeatedly, honey, you got to cross reference your news, man. You got to make sure that you're going to Bing, you're going to the Associated Press. You want to go with reputable sources for your news and information. If you're on Facebook, you know what I'm talking about. You think that you're looking, I'll give you a perfect example. She said to me about 2 weeks ago, oh, it looks like Henry Cavill is the new James Bond. I said, wait, huh? It's like, yeah, Henry Cavill is the new James Bond. Isn't that cool? I said, are you sure you verified this? Yeah, I did. No, it's legit. I even looked on his IMDb page. I'm like, huh? It's like, yeah, he's the new James Bond. I'm like, something's, and then it turns out it was actually a leaked audition video or something that had surfaced from what, the mid 2000s of him trying out to be James Bond, and things didn't work out for him, unfortunately. And I told her about it. Like, you got to be careful. But apparently, there was something going on there with Patrick Mahomes. But hey, if you put on that suit, and this isn't me being a dick, but for a lot of fans, hey, if you're on the field or you step onto the court, you're in uniform, you're playing, like, hey, that's all we care about the most. Because it's one of those deals where, well, if it's important, if it's that critical, if it's whoa, that is very heartbreaking news to hear, well, don't play. That's the mindset of most fans. So I'm not sure what exactly was going on with Patrick Mahomes, his mindset, but I've been saying for the longest time, for years, when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, look, if you want to put yourself and your team in a really good position where you can for sure secure a win against Kansas City Chiefs, one of the first things you got to do is put pressure on Mahomes. You got to make sure that he is as uncomfortable as possible when he is in that back pocket. The other thing you got to do is not necessarily do a full court blitz on him, because he can definitely make you pay for it if you keep coming at him with the blitz, and he's pretty much recognizing, reading the defense, what's getting ready to about to go down, and he can pretty much switch the audibles on you and everything. But if you disguise your joint, you put enough pressure on him, make him not as comfortable in the pocket, and have him be as benched as long as humanly possible while scoring at the same time, capitalizing and scoring. And on top of all of that, if you can get yourself 30 points and up, 30 points and up, and as early as possible, you get those points, you got a chance of winning the game. And Eagles, chef's kiss, they laid it out so beautifully, their blueprint against Kansas City Chiefs. So when it was all said and done, now, I mean, look, when we saw the score at halftime, what was that, 24-0? At that point, you're going, okay, if you're the Eagles or if you're rooting for the Eagles, you're going, this is pretty good where the Eagles are at. But Kansas City is going to get the ball to open up the second half. I don't know, 24 points. Can't really rest on that. You got to get more, especially if you've been looking at Kansas City off and on for a couple of years. You definitely agree with a lot of the points that I just laid out. Now, you definitely want to add more points there. So, better team won when it was all said and done. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, on an interesting note, let's talk about the halftime show real quick. By the way, welcome. The American Count over the weekend, I put out for audio on demand and downloads what I thought was supposed to be episode 1143. No, that actually should have been episode 1142. So I apologize about that. So we're gonna kind of clean that up. I'm not gonna title this episode for on demand and downloads as far as the number. I will just come up with a cool title, and then that's how we'll kind of bypass that. That way, we're good to go. Because I think at this point, even if I were to try to refresh the feeds, like I know Spotify, I can't do it, sadly. I don't think iHeartRadio. I think all of those guys, it's pretty much set. Because like I'm looking at the show on Spotify right now, just to see if hang on here, just to see if maybe we can get this changed, but I don't think it's going to, fam. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't think it's going to. Hey, this is weird. I'm looking at the show on Spotify here. Give me a second here, because I definitely want to talk about the halftime show. I saw a lot of mixed reactions to the halftime show. Here we go. I'm seeing it now. Oh, so apparently you can. Nice, nice, nice. That is what's up. So apparently you are able, if you make an error once the show is out in the open, you are able to edit and all of that loveliness, and then it will change in about an hour or so. So that's good. So this right now you're checking out is episode officially. This is episode 1143. Let's talk about the halftime Super Bowl show. I saw some interesting comments that was out there online. I know some people are like, yo, who the fuck cares what kind of music is happening at the halftime show? You know, the only thing that should matter is like what you like and all this. And like that is a really, trust me, people that are answering that way to the halftime shows, I'm looking at them and I'm going, okay, and I'm also paying attention to who is the year in, year out football fan versus the casual football fan. And I found a lot of casual football fans saying, oh, well, who cares? Like what you like, and who gives a fuck, and all that. And this isn't me taking any shots at those casual, like they come and go football fans and everything. It's pretty much, look, everybody's gonna be talking about the big game. I guess I need to be sitting down and watching it too, even though I haven't been watching it all season long. Those are pretty much your casuals. No, when you get right down to the heart of the matter, to kind of get casuals and non-casuals caught up to speed, ever since Jay-Z came into a working relationship with the NFL, he is the executive producer, basically. He's the curator of these halftime shows. So he has the stroke. What he says goes. What he is thinking of as far as the halftime shows goes, it is all on Jay-Z. And anybody that has been watching the NFL religiously, definitely been coming around to the halftime shows these past 4 to 5 years, Jay-Z has been doing nothing but the R&B genre. Nothing but the R&B genre. And it has alienated a lot of fans. And I want for people to understand, the fans that are feeling alienated, understand they're not going, I hate rap. Rap is crap. They're not going that route. They're basically going, look, man, there is a lot of talented artists that are out there, Grammy award winning artists at that. Can we diversify this? Can we switch it up? Can we, like, okay, one year we're going to mess with this genre. The next year we're going to come over here. We're going to do this. Oh, this band or this artist over here is white hot right now. And man, you'd be a fool to not capitalize on them. Like, what's going on here? And you have that core group of fans that are going, man, look, I am big into all things music, but I love me some rock and roll. I love me some metal. Man, I can't believe that it's been more than 15 years since we had a rock band, a legit, well-respected, well-renowned rock band perform. What the hell's going on here? When are we going to get some love for rock? Like, what's going on? So just to get you guys caught up to speed, that's why if you saw a little bit of salty comments on social media from people about that halftime show with Kendrick Lamar, that's where they're coming from. They're ready to see things get switched up. By the way, I appreciate you guys that had cast your vote, because I did want to know, what did you guys think about the halftime show? And this was an exclusive poll that I put up for our X community. So if you're not following me on X, you're missing exclusive stuff just like that. But here's where things stand right now. As polling at this point, it's definitely over. So here's where we are. We have a tie at 16%. Half of you felt that this year's halftime show wasn't as good as last year. Meanwhile, the other half of you said that it's time to switch genres. 26% of you all said the Kendrick Lamar halftime show was a good show overall. And coming in top dog, these are the final results on X. 42% of you, that's the top dog right now, that's what's leading, said it was a terrible show, honestly. Now, look, I watched the Kendrick Lamar show, and it's so funny because I remember last semester, I was in a television production class, and one of my classmates, as a matter of fact, you guys probably saw it because I had it uploaded on YouTube. It was one of my first projects that I did for television production. Me and a fellow classmate named Zahn. Originally, Zahn was supposed to be the entertainment insider, but then the crew, they decided, okay, well, since you're the podcast guy, since you've already got the personality down and the experience, why don't we put you in front of the camera. You be the entertainment insider and let Zahn be the one to ask the questions. And it's like, I really want them to get in front of the camera and get the experience and all, because I just feel like, yo, I got a disadvantage, or correction, I have an advantage over you guys. So it's kind of like, why don't you guys learn what I've learned and applied to, but they didn't want to do it. But anyway, and I remember one of the things, you guys will remember this, one of the things that Zahn asked me about was, okay, so we know Kendrick Lamar, he's going to be doing the halftime show. Do we think it's going to be as good as last year's? Do we think it's going to be good? And I told him, I said, look, I said, it's too early to tell right now, because, in a nice way, I said, look, we're asking this question in November, so it's really too early to say. We are familiar with his music without a shadow of doubt. We know his catalog, but whether or not it's going to be on point at the halftime show, only time will tell. So let's just go on ahead. And for those of you that need a refresher, last year's halftime show was Usher. Now, look, in my eyes, what I saw of Kendrick Lamar from the weekend, it wasn't better than Usher. I thought last year's halftime show with Usher, I mean, that was a home run. That was good. That was a lot of, I didn't really dawn on me until I was really, really listening that universally, a lot of Usher songs that, whether you're black, white, old, young, middle age, a lot of people, as I said on social media after the Kendrick Lamar halftime show was over, I said, in this particular case, the Kendrick Lamar, that is for a very core group of fans right there, because not everybody is gonna know about Kendrick Lamar. That he isn't, unfortunately, he's not really a household name universally. So, and I saw a lot of comments where a lot of you guys were like, I don't know what that was, and y'all had some very unsalty things to say. Y'all have very salty, not unsalty, but salty things to say about Kendrick Lamar. I do agree with the statement that, look, this kind of music, because it's going to be the same argument either way, right? To a degree. So if you were to replace Kendrick Lamar and you brought in Pearl Jam for the halftime show, you're probably still going to meet that same level of scrutiny to a certain degree. I just think when you get right down to the heart of the matter, what the majority of the fans want is just to be in a position where they can say, okay, look, at least they switched it up this year. Next year, they're going to go with this genre. And then next year, they're going to. So, by the way, I know President Trump is pissing a lot of people off right now. A lot of people off right now. And I hope things just, I'm thinking about those that are like out of work right now because of all these crazy things that the administration is doing. One thing that I thought was, wow, I can't believe this has never happened before. A sitting president has never attended a Super Bowl game. I was flabbergasted when I heard that. I was like, okay, well, you know what? That's good for you. Good for you. Of course, you've got the other jokes running in. Trump probably wasn't happy seeing Jay-Z there. He's probably going to try to get Jay-Z fired so he can be the NFL music curator. Hey, what did you think about tonight's Monday Night Raw? Sound off. Let your man know. We got 2 polls up. We got one up on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR Show. We also got a poll up on youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Cash your votes. Let's get right into this. I was getting ready to say something else. It wasn't politically related, but I'll bring that up later on in the show. So we are a couple of weeks out from the Elimination Chamber. And we got a continuation of some chamber qualifying matches. We also got to hear from CM Punk. We didn't get an update there, so to speak, on Sami Zayn, but we know as far as the big payback goes, we know that's going to be right around the corner just in time. WrestleMania season. We also got some new WWE 2K25 overall stats that some of you guys may be pretty excited to hear about. So, nice little well-rounded edition of Raw that we got for this week. You guys picked a good time to tune in because we're definitely going to talk about that. We're also going to dive into some of these latest AEW and WWE releases. Now, we did a weekend edition of the RCWR show. I dropped it early Saturday afternoon. No, actually, I recorded Saturday morning and released it early in the afternoon. And it's funny because when you listen to it, I dealt with the releases that, okay, yeah, it's official here. And there were some names I had missed. And I made sure that before I did that show, like, okay, is this the definitive? Is it up to date? And by like a couple of hours, I had missed some additional names that dropped. So we'll revisit some of the names that we talked about for the weekend edition. And for those of you that's like, where's the weekend edition? I didn't see anything pop up on my. So we didn't do a web stream edition. That was an audio exclusive. It's available wherever you get your podcast. And shout out to Mish from Rustling Soup. I had hit him up earlier tonight, and I said, dude, man, we've got to get together. Whether it's a round table or maybe you can come by, my neck of the woods and you do a crossover over here. I said, but we got to talk about these releases because that alone deserves its own respected episode. And Mitch was like, yeah, we're definitely going to be doing something later in the week, Friday, as a matter of fact. So he was like, if you want to, join on in there. So I had a lot of fun. For those of you that had listened to my parents, what was it, 2 weeks ago before the Rumble? We did it Friday night. We did a Friday night SmackDown post show. That was a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch of podcast guys that just all got together and we were all sounding off. I gotta say, Mish, dual role, uh, being host and essentially being the moderator, really helping moving it along. I thought it was gonna be one big old clusterfuck of just power talking, overlapping, but no, it actually ended up pretty good. So I'm definitely going to be doing that again this Friday. So be on the lookout for that. But these releases, some of the names definitely are surprising. I would have to say, yeah, some of these names are definitely surprising. But first things first, let's get the talk of Raw out the way here. So we had Jey Uso opening things up, the Yeet Man, as I like to call him, Yeet, coming on out there, getting the crowd nice and worked up. This was pretty much to a degree, a similar encore to the great 15-minute ovation that Uso got from last Monday, but this time with a little bit of a catch, as there was a monkey wrench thrown into this. So Jay was able to, for almost 15 minutes, have a repeat here, but then out of nowhere, Gunther attacking him, just beating the holy bejeebus out of Jey Uso. And just when the man seemed satisfied with everything that he did and he was walking out as a proud bully, Jey Uso finding the courage, finding the energy to grab a microphone and letting Gunther know, hey, look, this is probably going to be a mistake, but Gunther, I want you at WrestleMania. So in 68 nights, it will be Jey Uso taking on Gunther for that World Heavyweight Championship. So that's it. It's official. So now we know definitively what's going on with Jay and who he's chosen. Now we need to see how the Cody Rhodes. I don't know why I was getting ready to call him Corey, but Cody Rhodes. Now we are going to be going into Elimination Chamber, knowing, okay, for the men's chamber, whoever wins, they're going to be facing Cody at WrestleMania for his undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. Really good. Look, I appreciate the fact that this go round WWE decided, okay, you know what? Because look, we all can be in agreement. We've beaten the horse to death many times already, which is Jey Uso. He can't really talk worth a damn. But at the same time, I got to say, going back to the promo that he had from last week, it just really felt raw, no pun intended. It felt very emotional. It felt like he was talking real from the heart. And when you have those type of promos, one of my favorite Gloria Estefan songs from back in the day with the machine, the words get in the way. I love the lyrics to that song. Yeah, I haven't played that song in a while. Now that I think about it, I might play that as I'm studying and everything for the night. But I think about that song and I'm thinking about Jey Uso and what he is trying to say. Yeah, he can definitely struggle trying to get his point across, but the emotion is there. And I've always been a firm believer in, okay, you know what? Even if you are struggling with the words, as long as I can understand and I can relate to the message, I can connect to you on that emotional level to where I have empathy and however it is you want me to feel, you're connecting, man, mission accomplished. You're doing great. So I know a lot of people were crapping on his promo from last week. But me, I did not have an issue with his promo whatsoever. I like that real rawness, just the spur of the moment. Okay, we're here in real time. Give us your emotion. And I would imagine he probably had a couple of bullet points to go off of his head and everything, but I still feel he's made leaps and bounds of improvement, but not to the point where he should be out there just, okay, you've got 10, 15 minutes to kill on the microphone. Go out there and do your thing. No, that is not him just yet. So I appreciate the fact that WWE essentially learned from last week and basically said, okay, nah, this go round, we're gonna shorten it up a little bit here and we're gonna have Gunther do this. And I love that Gunther pretty much did that. You could say Gunther did what he did out of spite, that he did what he did out of jealousy. You could also say that Gunther did what he did to Jey Uso because he feels, look, this guy is a chump. He is a joke. He is a waste of time. He's not even right. You could make all of those points as far as why Gunther attacked Jey Uso. And it's just so interesting because you would have thought that with everything that had, oh, it's live, pal. Anything can happen. So my light structure here is teetering. I don't know why. Let me just move the mic. You guys are probably going to see me off screen for just a little bit, but I can multitask. I can do two things at the same time here brilliantly. But you would have thought that with that kind of a beatdown, maybe that would have put Jay in a position where, okay, I kind of have some reservations here. Maybe I shouldn't pick Jay Uso. But no, when you get right down to it, it's a case where, no, man, look, this dude don't punk you out live on TV in front of a sold out crowd, right? He's literally pulling your man card. Like, how are you supposed to respond here? And here's the thing going forward that I need to see happen with Jey Uso in the next 68 nights leading up to WrestleMania. I need to see Jey Uso be in a position where the dog gets brought out of him. You know where I'm coming from, fam. I need to see that beast of burden. I need to see, because they're telling the story just right so far. They really are. But I need for them to really bring out that dog and Jey Uso that signals to the fans, okay, you know what? This is a different Jey Uso. This is a hungrier Jey Uso. This is a man that has everything to lose, but a lot to gain, right? Because this is a man that has pretty much cashed in all of his chips. He could have had any opponent, but he decided he wanted to go against the man that he's currently undefeated against, what, like 4 times or whatever, that he's cashing in all his chips. And he's not even thinking about what if he loses. He's having the mindset right now of there is no if. I have to go into this WrestleMania. I got to get the job done. I have to do this. I will win. Right. So I need to see, and what they started with tonight of Jey Uso. No, I'm not backing down despite, okay, they're starting to show that little bit of a dog that he has in him. They need to continue to rely on that. They need to continue to lay heavily into that and getting him ready for WrestleMania, to the point I need to see in the next week or so Gunther chilling, eating a hot dog or whatever. Jey Uso just out of nowhere beating the shit out of him. Like, for the next little bit, I need to see Jey Uso have that kind of dog in him. That's going to definitely make it more interesting. I personally feel. You guys can sound off. Let me know what you're expecting to develop with Jey, particularly in this chase for the World Heavyweight Championship. Meanwhile, Io and Dakota Kai were in tag team action this week against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Solid tag match that got a decent amount of time. I got to say, when I was first watching this, I was jotting down some notes, and I'm just casually looking at the television here and there. And then, because I'm thinking, this is going to be like a 3-5 minute match. But then, like, it just, and I'm looking at it. But then, as I'm continuing, just bring my head up from time to time, I'm going, wait, this is actually getting pretty good. I actually stopped taking notes, and I was like, let me watch this in its entirety. This is, and you know what? That was a really solid women's tag match. Liv Morgan continues to win me over, fam. I gotta admit, that is one tough ass broad. So she takes this really bad spot, this really bad bump to the right side of her face, and she is bleeding open big time. All right. And you're like, damn, you're thinking about that. You're thinking about that rough spot that she had took in that Saturday night's main event match there. What was it? Was that against Rhea Ripley? I'm trying to remember who the opponent was there at Saturday night's main event. But she took a nasty bump right there. And I just remember how all of us, and even Jesse Ventura, was giving her mad props. Here's another case right here where another nasty little bump came about. And if there was ever a time where Liv Morgan, I'm sure she was probably rocked a little bit by that bump. You saw the referee immediately bust out the gloves, and referees kind of, okay, so what are we gonna do here? Are we gonna have a stoppage real quick and ref checks? And I'm sure it was a case where he was monitoring how much blood was trickling down her face and whether or not he needed to maybe step in and do a little. But honestly, by the time the blood was really starting to get out of hand, the match was pretty much over and done with. But man, that Liv more tough as nails, tough. She's got grit, she's got gusto. I love that. I love that about Liv Morgan. Liv's been really stepping it up as of late, having very solid, comparable matches. What more could you ask for? Io Sky, Dakota Kai picking up the win, which continued the narrative here that Io Sky, maybe she rightfully should have gotten the shot there against Rhea for that women's championship. But we'll never really know because she was screwed out of that opportunity based on what went down last week with the outside interference there of Rhea Ripley in Io's match against Liv, Elimination Chamber qualifier. But wait. Io, minutes after the match is over, backstage segment, runs into Rhea Ripley, who says, look, sorry for what had went down last week and everything, but what went down last week, that should merit me giving you a title shot just by default. But I went and spoke with Adam Pearce, and I want to give you a title shot. So 3 weeks times, Raw after Elimination Chamber, it is going to be a Rhea Ripley defending her championship against Io Sky. So that is going to be very, very, and keep in mind that Raw after Chamber will also know, we'll not just know who will be facing Cody at WrestleMania for his title, but we'll know on the women's side who will be facing. Well, wait a minute. Charlotte has not chosen her Mania opponent yet, correct? Yeah, I don't remember reading that in the headlines just yet. She has not chosen her opponent yet. So maybe we'll know something by NXT time, or maybe we'll know something by SmackDown time, but we still kind of have that up in the air. So kind of have that going in the back of you all's head. Speaking of Elimination Chamber, there was a women's Elimination Chamber qualifier match. It was Bayley going up against the Bird Lady, Lyra Valkyria. I thought this was good. I mean, legit, like I thought this was a okay match. Bayley picking up the W here. I appreciate the proper utilization that we're doing here with Lyra, because if you're noticing the pattern here, okay, 1 week she's doing a little something here, mixing it up here with Bayley, and then the next week we kind of have her mixing it up a little bit, so to speak, with the Alpha Academy there, Creed Brothers and Ivy Now. We got her like crossovering, doing a little something with them and everything. Oh Lord, my girls are getting ready to bark like mad crazy. I just got a text message from my wife. My wife had to go to a Mary Kay event out in PA. And so she's a couple of minutes away from the house. So I am going to, just an alert here. You're going to hear a bunch of dogs barking like mad crazy, because they're going to be happy that their mommy is home. So FYI. But anyway, would you see these past couple of weeks, leading up with the whole tournament, her becoming the women's intercontinental champion, you're taking a step back. You're definitely appreciating how this pet project of theirs and Lyra, how they're going about it and everything. And it's great timing that Pat McAfee, is there, because the entrance and him adding that whole woo, that really caught on. Fans are, reacting to it and all of that. So, all that is really good here. I would have to say, since Lyra has been part of the main roster in regards to this match against Bayley to date, no bull, this was one of her finer matches. This was one of those, okay, now I'm starting to see why Lyra was put on the main roster. Now I'm starting to see why so much time has continued to be invested in this woman. We still need to flush out the character more and more. I personally feel, but great match. Bayley definitely made her look better more than the usual, without a shadow of a doubt. Like normally a Lyra Valkyria match, you're like, but this one you're like, hey, all right, I see you, I notice you. So solid stuff for what it was worth, right there. Backstage segments, Lyra runs into Ivy Now and the Creed brothers. Ivy Now still on a mission to take that championship away from Lyra. So we know that's pretty much inevitable what's going to be going down. Meanwhile, elsewhere, 47-year-old AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, great freaking shape that he is into, by the way. He is back on Monday Night Raw, and in his brief conversation with the fans, he pretty much let them know, hey, I might have went out on injury for a while there. Things were looking kind of scary, but when it's all said and done, I'm here. I'm back. I still got plenty of gas left in the tank. Let's go. cue up Dominic Mysterio and Carlito to come out there, crash the festivities. AJ noticing, hey, you don't have Finn Balor by your side. What happened with Damian Priest? I don't see Damian Priest anymore. What's going on with that? You know, you guys are looking kind of light here. Like, what's hey, but hey, all said and done. Carlito, you got weird pants on. Dom, nobody likes you worth a damn. Pretty much instant Acme feud as Judgment Day got the better of him. You're wondering, as you're looking at all of this, wonder how Finn feels about Dominic and Carlito beating up there on AJ, given AJ and Finn's past history and everything, right? New Japan connection, all that. Like, wonder how he and as we had saw later on in the night, Seth Rollins cutting a promo, pretty much confident he's going to be coming out of the Elimination Chamber as the winner. Finn Balor, we were wondering where he was. Well, here he is. Finn Balor interrupting Seth Rollins' interview time, saying, no, 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 no. If anything, we're going to see the continuation of the downfall of Seth Rollins. We saw it with you losing on the Raw Netflix premiere against CM Punk. You said you were going to win the Royal Rumble. You lost at the Royal Rumble. That's what we're continuing to see is you on this losing streak here, and that's going to continue at Elimination Chamber. Finn Balor feels he's going to be the one that's going to win at Chamber. So later on in the night, Finn Balor coming across his Judgment Day stable. Still not liking how Dominic Mysterio is pretty much, why are you continuing to do stuff without consulting me? Like, if you listen to me, like, things will go the way that it should. So I like the butting of the heads that's continuing on here between Balor and Dom, because when it's all said and done, I mean, you can see the writing on the wall that Balor is ultimately going to get forced out of Judgment Day. And I loved how Dom said, look, we're down some guys. We should really consider bringing in some new blood. And Finn was against it. There he had me. He was against it. This almost reminded me, and if you guys have never seen this movie before, you'll thank me later. But if you are a fan of Motown music, right, or you're just a music buff, you appreciate music of yesterday from all genres, go look up the two-part movie. I say two-part because typically when it airs on TV, usually on VH1, they air it in two parts because it's basically an almost 4-hour movie. But you can rent it on Prime Video for like, I think $3 or $4 and watch it without any commercials. And then at that, I think you're going to be looking at about maybe 3.5 hours, give or take. But look up the Temptations movie. All right. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I was seeing what was going on here between Dom and Finn, it reminded me of that scene in the Temptations where Otis and the rest of the gang, they're like, yo, David Ruffin, like he is getting out of hand here, man. We got to do something about this brother because he's going to continue to cost us a lot of money. He is going to cost us a lot of endorsements. He is going to cost us tickets at the gate. Like, this guy needs to go. And I remember Eddie Kendricks, he was like, nah, man, we can't do that. We can't vote him. We need him, like, he's the Temptation. When you think of the Temptations, you think of him. Like, we need him. We can't, nah, man, we can't do that. And, Otis and the other guys eventually, they went on ahead and they voted for David out and all of that. So, but it was a power struggle. That's my whole point. It was a power struggle that you were seeing going on there in the Temptations. And I like what I'm seeing between Dom and Finn because, it seems that you could make a case of an argument. Finn is maybe jealous because Dom is coming up with these ideas that maybe Finn wishes he would have thought of. Like, you could make that argument if you want. But then you can also make the argument that Finn is maybe now starting to see, like, wow, the stable, when it was first created, it was supposed to just be all about everybody's equal. But man, I thought Damian was the issue. I thought Rhea was the issue. No, when it was all said and done with Damian and Rhea, they just outgrew that stable. They were on to bigger and better things. And I don't think Finn will ever admit, yeah, hey, I was wrong and how high. But I think Finn in storyline will get to a point where he's like, I thought Damian and Rhea were the enemies. No, the enemy this whole time from within was Dominic Mysterio. Just imagine if we never had Dominic in the stable. Man, Judgment Day would probably still be intact like this very day. What the hell? So, but I do feel that eventually there's going to be some strength in numbers. There is going to be some new members added to the Judgment Day stable. But I think Finn and his time in the stable, that's definitely going to be coming to an end very, very soon. And, here's some of the stuff that you got to think about, because we'd be here all night fantasy booking as far as like who could be new members for Judgment Day and all of that. But the one thing that we need to say to ourselves on the other side, like, okay, we see AJ is going to be doing something there with Judgment Day. Eventually that's going to expand. But wait a minute, AJ, he no longer has Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. We'll talk about them as far as the WWE releases and AEW releases later on. But AJ doesn't have those guys anymore, right? So what? Well, hey, if that report that is floating around is true, that Dragunov is back at the WWE Performance Center, he's training and he could be coming back any day now or whatever, then that's something that you kind of have to have in the back of your head, right? Just picture that other side. Like, ultimately, Finn Balor is going to get kicked out of Judgment Day. There's no mistake about that. But just look at that other side. You're probably going to be seeing likely AJ, Dragunov, right? Penta. I could easily see Penta being in there. I could even, under the right circumstance, especially if you want to continue to give her rub-offs, right? Lyra Valkyria, if you want to continue to have her brush up against, stars like Bayley and like continue that string, right? If you want to do that, you could definitely put her in there. So that'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. What else? Creed Brothers took on the War Raiders for the tag team titles. That ended in a disqualification as one of the Creed brothers snapped, grabbed the tag title, clocked one of the War Raiders over the head with it. All right, so they were bitter assholes and everything. That feud is obviously going to continue, right? Real question is, are we going to see that maybe pick up at Elimination Chamber, or are we going to see another match take place on Monday Night Raw? But that go round, maybe it's going to be a no DQ match or what. Remember, we still got this story arc there involving Alpha Academy, where Chad Gable has gone off to practice the dark arts of luchador and said he was going to be gone for a bit, but when he comes back, he's expecting Creed Brothers and Ivy Now to have the Women's Intercontinental Championship and the tag team titles. So whether or not that's right, like, to be continued. The match here was good for what it was worth with the teams. It was good for what it was worth, but we had that bit of a fuck finish, but obviously, right, like, they're just getting started. So it's kind of, okay, all right, whatever. CM Punk was in the house, cutting a promo on all his potential Elimination Chamber opponents, even saying and taking issue with the fact that John Cena declared himself as a entrant for the Elimination Chamber, which he took issue with because everybody else had to earn their opportunities. But he did note that John Cena, for as long as he gets to call his shot, he's pretty much earned that right. But regardless, his pathway to WrestleMania, facing Cody Rhodes for the championship, it's a clear-cut path that he plans on winning and everything. Logan Paul interrupts. Those little nuances that I appreciate from CM Punk in this go round. You might have missed it. But this go round, when Logan Paul's music came on and we finally see who it is, I gotta admit, I too was going, wait, who the hell is that? And you can hear CM Punk. I wasn't sure who the hell that was, right? Because he didn't know whose theme that was. So I love seeing Logan Paul and Punk go back and forth briefly there. We had Logan Paul say to Punk there, hey, you were bragging about you never lost to Logan Paul. Well, I threw your ass out at the Rumble. And hey, just so you know, I'm going to have your number at Elimination Chamber. And Punk's like, hey, if that be the case, that's good. But like, you don't need to be worried about me right now. There's only one person you need to be worried about, and that is 619 himself, Rey Mysterio. You need to figure that out. You figure that out. Yeah, I'll see you at the chamber. Main event match, Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio, the rematch. Remember the last time these guys had faced off, it was over in Saudi Arabia for the United States Championship, of which Logan Paul won. Logan Paul picking up the victory here to advance to Elimination Chamber. Fantastic stuff. This was, look, I loved it. I loved it. Normally, I don't go out of my way to go when it comes to Raw. Yo, watch. But like anybody that hasn't watched this week's Raw yet, and you're trying to, hey, yeah, what about this is the match I would say go out of your way. If you want to fast forward everything else, go ahead. Go for it. Like, honestly, you'll be all right. But keep it right here when this match comes on, because this was some damn good stuff. I love Pat McAfee on cue there, naming the finisher the pulverizer, because at the end there was belly to back flip that turned into the DDT, which Pat McAfee right on cue, he was like, yo, there he goes with the pulverizer. That finished Rey Mysterio off at about the 17-minute mark. Leave it to Pat McAfee, the wittiness, boy, when he comes up with a really cool name, something of a catchphrase, like it really catches on. It really, really does. In and out for this edition of Monday Night Raw, right down to the point. This was barely a 2.5 hour show. This was a very light show. Because I remember I looked at the clock and I said, wow, we're ending a few minutes before 10:30. Wow, like that's good. Well-rounded, pretty good episode. Not dull by the stretch, as the Elimination Chamber picture is starting to look better and better as we're moving forward. Next week on Monday Night Raw, check this out. Elimination Chamber qualifier. We got Finn Balor taking on Seth Rollins. AJ Styles, meanwhile, will face Dominic Mysterio. I love the great stare down, by the way, that AJ and Braun Breaker had. It felt like it lasted an eternity as Braun Breaker finally, because I'm like, who's going to speak first? Braun was the one to speak first. He says to AJ, see you soon. So potentially, is that a WrestleMania? That if so, that's going to be a banger. Also, we got an elimination qualifier as Roxanne Perez takes on Raquel Rodriguez. And notice we didn't mention him this week, but he will be back in action next week. Penta will face Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne having some strong words backstage segment tonight with Ludwig Kaiser, saying he didn't need his help, didn't ask for it, and Kaiser saying, yeah, I wasn't out there to help you, and what, you don't think I can handle my own personal business on my own? And they basically came to an agreement that, okay, so we agree that neither one of us need the other one's help. Okay, great talk. So we'll see how those two guys continue to obviously eventually that's going to be a tag team with those two. That's going to be a tag team with those two against Penta. I don't know, maybe Penta and Ray against those two guys. I mean, there's a couple of options there. Let me talk to you guys about some WWE 2K25 stats here. So this was what all we found out from tonight's show. And by the way, Raw ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I wish it would have ended with just Logan Paul picking up the win, but it ends with Kofi Kingston and I believe Xavier Woods, New Day, beating the crap out of Rey Mysterio. That's how that ended. I don't like the timing of that. I mean, I appreciate WWE and just the build up because it's been weeks upon weeks of a build up they've been doing here, but to just squeeze that in, so I wasn't really a fan of that tonight. So that's just me. But here's what I've seen for tonight's Raw as far as WWE 2K25 stats. So we've got Bayley, who is at a 87. Lyra Valkyria is at an 83. EO Sky was updated apparently. She went from an 89 that was first put out there. We saw the screenshots and everything. She went from an 89 to an 86. An 89 to an 86. I've got to blow my nose. Forgive me here. Let me just mute myself. She went from an 89 to an 86. Meanwhile, Raquel Rodriguez is an 86. I definitely feel they've got that wrong. I think EO, if you're going to lower EO from an 89 to an 86, I'm okay with that. But Raquel should maybe be at an 82, maybe an 83. Dakota Kai is 82. Ivar, 81. Eric, 79. Julius Creed, 78. Brutus Creed, 77. So that is where we stand right now. For those of you that's wondering, well, wait a minute, what about Rey Mysterio? What about Logan Paul? They didn't show, as far as I know, they didn't show their stats, but some people are saying from what they were able to see, because some people have advanced copies and all that. From what some people are saying, Logan Paul is at a 90. I'm not seeing anything for Rey Mysterio right now. I'm seeing Bianca Belair is at an 85. Alexa Bliss, 83. Candice LeRae, 71. Liv Morgan, 91. Oh, actually, there's Rey Mysterio. Sorry, guys. Rey Mysterio is at an 86. Again, Rey Mysterio is at an 86. That I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Rey Mysterio being at an 86. Dakota Kai, we just told you about Dakota Kai. I guess I'm okay. Yeah, I think they did that right. I think they did that right. Actually, no, because you got Dragon Lee who's at a 78. I kind of feel like maybe that should be flipped. Maybe Dakota Kai should be 78. Dragon Lee should be 82. But then again, I see Kofi Kingston, who's coming in at an 81, and I go, and Xavier Woods is at an 80. It's like, I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but that's where we stand right now with the stats. By the way, how are you guys enjoying the new gaming update for WWE Supercard? Right now, they've got the block party event that's happening for the next 16 days. If you're able to acquire all the necessary skill points, attack, defense, and all that stuff, you get yourself some really cool cards. You get a really cool block party Jacob Fatu card, Tiffany Stratton card, a Julia card. All the designs look really, really good. And if you ended up finishing the block party campaign, a little time consuming, but you're definitely rewarded as you finish all three chapters in that quest, you get yourself a Jacob Fatu card. So you definitely, if you're able to get that and you're able to acquire all the attack skills, get all the attack skill points in Block Party, there's your other Jacob Fatu. You definitely would be guaranteeing yourself a pro Block Party card. So I love it. I love it. It's a nice little fun mode. Very seldom have I lost too. I don't know about you guys, but very seldom have I lost. Like if I were to count like so far, I know to date I have played almost 150 times of Block Party and I've only lost 3 times. Only lost 3 times. And I'm looking at probably I'm definitely at Royal Rumble tier, but I think I might be Royal Rumble plus. So I like just barely at Royal Rumble plus for my tier and all that. So yeah, nice little fun mode that we got going on there. By the way, shout out to let me see if I can get, I want to give this guy credit because when I saw his stuff a couple of days ago heading into the weekend, I was like, wow, this is just really, really impressive. And I definitely am going to be checking it out when it becomes available for everybody to play around with. Because right now I think it's only available for Patreon members. It will soon be available for general downloads and all that. But there was a really awesome WWE 2K24 creator that made Jordan Grace. And it was so damn good, the design. It was so damn good that even Jordan Grace, because it came her way somehow in her feed, and even she endorsed it. And it looks really, really good. Really, really good. You guys definitely got to go out of your way if you're looking for some stuff to download. Let me see if I'm trying to see if it's available for you guys. All of a sudden, I'm trying to do Jordan Grace. Hang on here. Jordan Grace 2K24 should be there. No, that's not her. That's not her. Where's the one that Jordan Grace actually endorsed herself? And you could tell there was like some really good mod work that was done for that Jordan Grace. I want to give this guy credit. Damn, now I can't that's weird. Now I can't find it. That sucks. That sucks. Well, I tell you what, let me try one more thing here. And if I can't find it, like, it's all good, but I wanted to find it. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe if I click on Jordan Grace. Maybe if I click on Jordan Grace, I can find it. Wait a minute, Jordan. What the hell, huh? What the hell, huh? Ugh. Jordan Grace, new bulking up program just started today. Time to get bigger. She has Fruit Loops mixed with tuna. She says, "I'm white, y'all. Why does it? No, no, no. I've heard of some, white people like putting raisins in their tuna. Like I've heard shit like that. I ain't never heard no Fruit Loops in no tuna. Y'all gonna have to get me caught up to speed on that one. I ain't. That's some nasty foul shit right there. Oh my God! What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing, man? Lord have mercy." Oh, I wasn't aware of that. That's cool. Coming series 2 of Major Stars is Jordan Grace. Looks pretty cool. All right. I'm trying to see if I can. There it is. There it is. Shout out to Joe Mashups. Again, shout out to oh no, bring that up. Bring that up. Wifey's asking me if I want my soda. Shout out to Joe Mashups. Go look him up on social media. But where I first came across this is on X. look up Joe Mashups and his hashtag WWE 2K24, and you'll see his Jordan Grace, and you're like, man, how the hell did this guy put this together? And he revealed just part of what he did here. Part of it involves, like, for the hair mod, part of it involves taking Lita's bangs and mixing it with Tiffany Stratton's hair, and that's how he was able to get Jordan Grace. When you see that skin, you're going to be like, wow, that is a really good, because he pretty much made the version that appeared at the Royal Rumble. That's the version that he made. It's good job. Good job. If you got a really good CAW that, you want me to just, hey, I'll show you love, man. I'm not getting paid. Nothing. I'm not looking to get paid. I just recognize good shit when I see it. Because, back in the day, I used to be a really good CAW maker myself. I stayed making really, really cool shit. I would spend most of my time making old school wrestlers. So I used to make Stan Hansen, a constant favorite of mine, superstar Billy Graham. Another one I would always get around to making. I used to do vintage Hulk Hogan. So I would go with the the Thunder Lips version around Rocky 3. I used to go with that version. Sometimes I would go with the one that was running around during the AWA days as well. American made, white t-shirt and all that. I used to go with that one. Sting was always one I would make. And then I would switch it up and start going with comic book characters. So I would always make the Doomsday battled version of Superman, black suit Superman, when he was making his return during the reign of Superman arc from back in the 90s. Y'all know exactly the arc for your comic book collectors out there. I would make that version. Who else? Iron Man. I think Captain America. Yeah, Captain America as well. So now it's just gotten so goddamn complex because, like, there's just, what at first you're doing it and it would just feel like maybe you were at it for about an hour. Now it feels like you're putting a couple of hours into that bad boy. And for what these guys are able to do is just, and the modding and everything, they definitely have my utmost respect. So if you were watching Raw tonight, you probably heard that coming up next week, WWE on A&E programming returns, all new stuff. We've got the LFG series that features coaches such as HBK, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Mickey James, Bully Ray, Dudley, CM Punk, Undertaker. We saw a couple of previews on tonight's Raw, letting us get just a little bit of a taste of what's to come. CM Punk having a mic workshop, wondering, hey, who's got really good talking chops? Come on up here, say something into the mic, cut a promo on anything, anyone. And we saw a whole bunch of people running up trying to get that mic from Punk. I was thinking Taker because I literally was looking at Taker's name just now. But yeah, we're going to have LFG. That's going to premiere at 8 p.m. Eastern. Followed by that, new season of WWE Rivals. And then there is a new show that Michael Cole is going to be hosting, WWE Greatest Moments. So there's your new 3-hour block of, I don't know if I really care for WWE Greatest Moments. I'm more interested in the WWE Most Wanted Treasures. I love stuff like that. That really, for me, is where the money is. So that's all going to be popping up next week. I'll definitely check out the first couple of weeks worth of shows. I don't mind. I definitely want to check them out. I definitely want to watch at least the first 2 episodes of Greatest Moments just to get a little bit of an idea of what the series is about. There's the pretty little lady. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Oh, nice. Nice. You look very pretty. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't mess your makeup up.
Well, I figured you was doing the show.
Damn it. You had fun?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, you took pictures?
Yes.
Okay, good. Got 'em.
Yeah, they had me running a PowerPoint.
Really?
Yes.
I'm sure that probably, at least with Pam.
Yeah. There's a few other stories I'll tell you, but anyway.
You staying up, right?
No. I didn't work more.
I've already done about an hour and 9. I'm probably gonna do about maybe another 20 minutes.
I may still be.
All right, watch the news. I'll try to get in there. Yeah, watch the news so we get in there. Where was I here? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching all of those shows. WWE on A&E Premiere Week should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, speaking of shows, if you've been a long time listener of this show, I have said to you guys for years upon years upon years, Mick Foley, if you have an opportunity as far as meeting celebrities, there's always been that wrestler on your bucket list. Man, I wish I could, or maybe it's a case where, man, I don't know where to start as far as meet and greets when it comes to wrestlers. I'm not sure who to try meeting first and all that. I've always said, number one, like top of my list, Mick Foley. You won't be disappointed. And I've always brought up his one-man comedy shows and how entertaining it was. And for newer listeners, if you want to get an idea, he came through DC Improv years back for his one-man show, and all the proceeds, it went to Rain, the organization. And it was awesome. Got to meet him, got to meet his daughter Noelle. What a sweetheart. Very, very, very polite, very friendly with everybody. Made sure she interacted with everybody, thanked everybody for coming and all that. So he's, I've said, look, if you get a chance, check out his one-man show. Check out his one-man show. Check out his one-man show. Well, it's been some years since he's done a one-man show. He's bringing it back. He's got 20 dates. No, to my people in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, we're not on the list this go round. Now, maybe that will change, and maybe some newer dates will be added. But the way it's looking right now, no, you can pretty much forget about that. So bear with me a second here, because I thought I had this pulled up for you guys, but now I do. All right, so here's your 20 dates. Manchester, UK, Saturday, February 15th at the BEC Arena. Looks like he's going to be doing 2 shows there, Saturday the 15th of February and Sunday the 16th of February. From there, he's going to be at the Dua Quarter, Aspire Lady Sports. I can't read the rest of that, but that's going to be Friday, February 21st. From there, Vancouver, British Columbia at the Pearl, Sunday, February 23rd. Comes back to the United States, March 8th, Ohio. Then he does Michigan the next day. Looks like he comes back to Ohio. That's going to be interesting. So it looks like on Sunday, wait a minute, that can't be right. That's definitely I think you got to flip that, guys. You got to flip that. I'm looking directly at his website. He's got to flip that. So look, Hamilton, Ohio, he's going to be at the Spooky Nook Sports at 11 a.m. on March 9th. But then at 6 p.m., he's going to be in Royal Oak, Michigan for the show. So that's, yeah. And then apparently there's something on March 11th in Ohio at the Funny Bone. Looks like he's doing 2 joints at the Funny Bone. One is going to be on March 11th. The other one's going to be on March 12th. Salt Lake City, 21st of April. Next day, he'll be at Wise Guys in Utah. Colorado Springs, Looney's Comedy, Thursday, April 24th. Kansas City, Funny Bone on Tuesday, April 29th. Looks like he'll be there on the 30th as well. Illinois, he'll be at the Jukebox Comedy Club on Thursday, May 1st. Brookfield, Wisconsin, Milwaukee Improv, Monday, May 5th. 21st of Wednesday, Phoenix, Arizona, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Thursday, May 22nd. West Nyack, New York, May 28th. That's a Wednesday. And Syracuse, New York at the Funny Bone, Thursday, May 29th. Those are all the dates right now. Maybe some could be added on. Have to wait and see. But that's how that's looking right now. Oh, she got me the Diet Pepsi. Oh, that's lovely. I love that. So WWE is thinking about thinking about doing more stuff with Trish Stratus. Now, as many of you guys know, WWE is going to be doing the Elimination Chamber in Toronto, and that's where Trish Stratus is from. So there's talk right now that Trish Stratus is maybe going to have some type of a role out there. To what extent, who knows? Maybe she's going to have a match, who knows? But it seems that the working relationship that WWE has going on with Trish Stratus is one that is, at times, they'll pitch her ideas and she'll be like, okay, let's fine tune this. Let's do this instead of, and she's not difficult. She's just, that's good, but let's do this, let's add on to that. And then a lot of times she'll hit them up and be like, yo, what if hey, I'd love it if we could, they kind of work out the kinks. So, but the fact that Trish Stratus, what is she, 49 going on 50 or 51, 52, the fact that she wants to continue to go in, do stuff with the WWE, I love it. Because I got to tell you, when I go back and I think about her performance at the Royal Rumble, it was like she was in her own little world there. She's in her own little world there. And to Citizen in the chat, I definitely want to show him some love. I've seen his comment. I've just been trying to figure out how to slide his comment on there. He says that CM Punk is a master Roshi. Good fighter, but an absolute weirdo if a female walks by him. Now, Citizen, I got to put you on the spot. With that latter part that you said about Punk and female walks by him, what makes you an authority on that particular topic? What are you basing your information off of? Is this firsthand knowledge, meaning you've spoken to somebody directly that has physical personal dealings with CM Punk on a regular basis? Maybe they're seeing him at the shows. Is it firsthand account that way? Or is this secondhand account, meaning you are reading stuff online from a dirt sheet that is reporting on something from some other source? Like, where are you basing this information off of? Because it would appear that any and everybody, male, female, that has stepped up and commented on CM Punk, there's been nothing but good things said about him. So whether you need training advice, life advice, you're just shooting the shit with, like, the guy is just very, very approachable. So where are you basing that comment off of? I'm most curious. Sound off. Meanwhile, getting into the end game. Speaking of end game, by the way, did you guys see the news about Avengers Endgame? Not Avengers Endgame, but Avengers Doomsday. So filming is supposed to begin this March. And remember, that movie is supposed to be coming out next year. I cannot wait. I think they're going to begin filming in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. So I cannot wait. I am so excited. Speaking of Marvel and all that, no, I have not watched the new your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, or just the new Spider-Man animated series that's on Disney Plus. I have not watched it yet. I've been so damn busy, but I plan on sitting down this weekend to watch it. I think at this point, what is it, fam? They've got maybe the first 2, maybe going on 3 episodes that's going to be out. I will definitely be watching it this weekend and sound off about that series. But I'm looking forward to checking it out. Honestly, look, I'm in go mode right now. I am ready for the return of BMF. I'm ready for the return of Power Force. I am ready. Who else am I ready for? I'm ready for Book of Canaan, Power Book of Canaan. I'm ready for all my favorite shows to come back already. I'm getting a little preoccupied right now, catching up on FBI Most Wanted and a couple of other things. But those are my main go-tos, man. I love watching those shows. I'm very excited too, man. You know, I had a really good conversation with my professor for my mathematic statistics course. I was talking with her earlier today. She was like, you know, hey Lee, I'm just reaching out to you. And I was like, oh, hey, professor. And we started chatting. I told her, I said, look, I don't know nothing about this. I said, math has never been my strong suit, and this just feels way, 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 way over my head. She was really cool with me. She was like, you're gonna do fine. Don't worry about it. She's like, trust me. She's like, you're gonna be in good hands. And she's like, just play around on the blackboard, look at everything and just stop by. It's a virtual thing. Like, this is a distance learning course that I'm taking. So basically, homework, everything. We got like a whole week to basically go in, do it, basically. But she was like, yo, no, just, stop by for a Zoom chat. Gonna be doing a little orientation, get to know each other more. Stop by this week. I'll gladly help you out. So yeah, I feel overwhelmed. Let me just say, I feel overwhelmed, but we'll see where this goes. I know I got good friends like my man Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. I know he will definitely, if push comes to shove, be willing to help a brother out. And I'm mentioning him and all that because this still links back to Marvel related stuff. So he made my day over the weekend. Yeah, because I told him, I said, could you do me a solid? It's like, and I'll pay you for your troubles. Could you do me a solid? I want the Red Hawk popcorn bucket. And it's really cool. Like, it's this bust of the Red Hawk, kind of similar to the Venom joint that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of similar to that, but you could put popcorn in it. And in the case of the Red Hawk, I guess you put it in the back of his back because there's nothing in the front. And then there was this really cool Captain America popcorn bucket that had Falcon's wings spread it out. And I was like, yo, could you do me a solid? Could you go grab these two for me? And, I'll give you a little extra something for your trouble. I did not think my man was going to hit pay dirt, but he was able to find both of them with ease. And I was like, my man, that is what's up. Because, we got the new Captain America movie that's going to be dropping this week. I'm very excited to be checking that out too. I can't wait. Got the Valentine's Day weekend already planned and all of that good stuff. All right, let's talk about some of these releases because we had releases that went down not just from WWE. We also had releases that went down from AEW as well. Let's start with these AEW releases. So AEW, going into the weekend, they released Malachi Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks. Now, according to the good folks at Fightful and PW Insider, the way it's looking right now, all three of these men are under no compete as far as non-compete. They don't have that clause. So they're free agents that can sign anywhere right now as they wish. Now, break it down. Let's start with Malachi Black. It's interesting what was happening there with Malachi Black because apparently he's been expected to leave AEW since December and hadn't been on TV pretty much, since a little bit before that. Tony Khan had mentioned a couple of years ago, if you all recall, that he expected to have Black through most of 2027. Because remember, we had those rumblings there that once Triple H Paul Levesque was starting to obtain more and more power, grass is greener on the other side here. And all of a sudden, we started hearing Malachi Black's name, and Tony Khan Ted shut that down. No. I got this dude locked in for like 5 years. Like he ain't going nowhere. And you know, this guy over here, I know William Regal was another. Like, no, he's not going. And sure enough, people just start dropping off, you know, one by one and everything. So, and then remember Malachi Black, he even did a couple of Twitch streams and he was like, no, you know, I feel bad for Malachi because what I was getting from him responding to some of this stuff on his Twitch streams was, okay, you know what? Certain people that maybe he confided in somehow went back and they're putting his information out there. And if they aren't putting his information out there, Tony Khan is talking to the wrong people, like somehow the wrong people very close to Tony Khan. They're going running, putting the information out there, and it's pretty much have made things, you know, difficult for Malachi. I'm sure Malachi doesn't want to be, you know, addressing all of that stuff. It's just kind of like, look, let me just keep my head down and power through all this. Just let me navigate these waters, and you know, however it's going to be on the other side is however it's going to be on the other side. I'm sure hearing all of that stuff, though, all that stuff being in the air, it did not help. I'm sure it did not help. But when it's all said and done, Malachi now a free agent. And yeah, without a shadow of doubt, if there's one guy I look at from WWE where I go, man, how could you royally fuck up that guy? How could you fuck up a push like that? Malachi Black. I mean, Vince McMahon, and I still remember those dreaded basement, you know, S&M dungeon promos. I want someone to fight me. You know, every week he's just, you know, in a cellar somewhere. Fight me. Come fight. And nobody would ever come to fight this dude. I was like just patiently sitting there week in, week out. I'm like, is somebody gonna come, like, I don't know, turn a light on and hi and just you know, or turn a light off and go Cyclops on his ass from the X-Men, you know, Cyclops turns the light off and he just fucks up all those sentinels with his beams, like, cause someone, and it just got comical really, really quick. I mean, come on, let's not forget about the dreaded rise from your grave entrance there for Malachi Black. Yeah, fucking I hated that. You guys have no idea. But if anybody can do right by this man, for sure, Triple H, Paul Levesque. For sure, this guy will do right by him. I think he will definitely, he's what, 37, going on 38. He is definitely, I said it way back when, I still believe it to this day, that he is a world heavyweight champion. What a travesty, a talent like that Tony Khan had. And I remember when Malachi Black was first obtained by AEW, I was going, yo, if Tony Khan does this right, yo, this is your next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Like, and just, there were some good moments there for Malachi Black and the House of Black, but overall, a bust. Overall, a bust. So, just a matter of time before he heads on back to the WWE. And honestly, I'm excited for him, you know, honestly, because, you know, on so many levels, just creatively, Triple H, Paul Levesque, he gets him. He gets what he's about, understands that vision and all that. So you got that. And I mean, come on, his wife is in WWE. So, you know, I've always been a firm believer, and you want to do everything you can in your power to keep couples together and, you know, let them have the ability to, you know, be on the road together, you know, try to book them to the same places, try to have them be on the same show if you can, all that shit. Miro, meanwhile, Miro has not competed in AEW since December of 2023. Dude just pulled a Dave Chappelle. Deuces. All right. That was, if you know your trivia, that was when he defeated Andrade El Idolo at AEW World's End. remember Lana there, CJ Perry, she was involved at all. Remember that whole arc? Yeah, go refresh your memory if you can't remember. So he's been cleared to compete for some time, but he asked for his release as far back as September of last year. Fightful Select, they noted that the matter had gone quiet for a long time before he was released and had not mentioned in terms of possible creative in the last 6 months. Nearly everyone in AEW that the Fightful outlet spoke to had expected not to see him back in the company. His contract extension, which he signed back in early 2022, should have kept him around until 2026. That's what's going on there. You know, Miro, when he first came to AEW, I remember he showed up video game Miro. Even the type of attire he was wearing, I'm going, what the fuck is this? Like, what's happening here? Like, this isn't and Miro just came from that Miro. That whole, why have my gods defied me? I just love all that. Redeemer. I love all of that. If I'm Triple H, Paul Levesque, I'm having a serious conversation with Rusev. I'm going, yo, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep that Miro name and all that? Because, you was doing some really good shit with that. Like, or is that locked and loaded with Tony Khan and crew? Like, what was, I'm having serious conversations. And in worst case scenario, if they can't obtain the rights and all that for the Miro name and they got to go with Rusev, Rusev Day, like that's cool. That's cool. But like, I want to see that whole Redeemer thing. I want to see that on a much bigger scale. Because just imagine doing Miro the Redeemer in WWE. Oh my God. And then just think about the matchups that you could have as well. To you all's credit, I've seen a lot of really good ideas out there with Malachi Black, by the way. I love the idea of Malachi Black maybe being the new leader of the Wyatt Six, which reminds me, you can't really, and shout out to Karrion Kross, because he could have ignored this, but he did not. So there was a fan on social media that came off insinuating that Karrion Kross was the one that apparently injured Bo Dallas, and as a result of that, like, it's possible that some of the guys from Wyatt Six, they could be released, and basically, hey, this is why we haven't seen Bo Dallas and Wyatt Six do anything, because Karrion Kross injured him or whatever. And Karrion Kross, he looked at that rumor that was floating around. Again, he didn't have to respond to it, but he acknowledged this person. And what did that person do? Rather than just, I hate when people do this too, because they think that once you get a response, oh shit, well, let me just delete this because, man, obviously I was wrong. And it's like, no. It's like, it is forever out there. That's it. It's out there. So just own it because it's out there in black and white now. And if anything, just, oh, okay, well, thanks for clarifying. Hey, look, not for nothing. Obviously, I fucked up. But Karrion Kross saying this is completely untrue. We all miss him at work, but the reaching and promoting of bullshit, please be better than this. And that's why I always say to you guys, especially in this day and age where wrestlers, all you got to do these days is just ask them publicly. And most of them will fucking answer your question. They will answer your question. And Karrion Kross is one of those dudes. That's the thing that I really like about Karrion, and you understand his origins. Karrion Kross started off just as many of you that are out there. You make your rounds listening to different podcasts. When it's all said and done, like, he's just a big old wrestling fan. Well, it was his love for wrestling, right? So not only did he become a wrestling fan, but he also became a fan of quite a few wrestling podcasts. He would make his rounds just like many of you all do. And no matter how much time, no matter how much money and fame that has come this guy's way, he is still humble as fuck. He hasn't forgotten where he's come from. He's still, you know, oh, you guys are beneath me. I don't need to talk to you guys. Right? There's nothing you can offer me. Like, you weren't there for. No, he doesn't operate that way. So, he really did not have to respond to that comment, but just seeing him respond to that, it just made me go, respect. I've always said to you guys here on this show, it's one thing if we're going to talk about something that is a rumor. That is okay. So as long as we let it be known and we emphasize, hey, this is a rumor, allegedly, this is what's going on. Okay. Assuming, all right, allegedly this is okay. Well, here's a take, right? We have to hold ourselves accountable, whether you are a aspiring journalist, or you're trying to be a movie TV critic, an entertainment critic, or you're a smart mark or whatever. Like, you got to make sure that as far as jumping to conclusions and even insinuating something as fact, you got to be careful with the way of words there. Because if you're not, it can come back to really bite you in the ass, like it did here for this guy that got owned by Karrion Kross. But I love the idea of Malachi Black, somehow acquiring Wyatt Six, and then maybe when Bo Dallas comes back, Malachi, Bo, there's that fight. I kind of like that idea that you all had laid out. So and Miro / Rusev, just however you want to do it, just whether it's Rusev or it's going to be Miro, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge when that guy comes back. Meanwhile, Ricky Stark, let's talk about him. Ricky Stark, he asked to be let go in late 2023, asking the company to not pick up the option that was coming up last spring. However, AEW, rather than honor his wishes, no, they went on ahead. They picked up that additional year and they didn't use him when it was all said and done. So his contract, it would have been wrapped up apparently, reportedly a couple of months ago. So we got all of those guys, and it's safe to say we know where all three of those guys is going, right? Greener pastures definitely over in the WWE. And it's kind of interesting that we see the current crop of the comings and goings, if you will, right? And you can kind of get an idea where things are going to be landing. Now, let's talk about some of these WWE releases. Now, we've already, so if you guys want to get some full nitty gritty, go check out the weekend show that I dropped. But we did talk about the authors of Pain, Akeem, and Razir being released. We also talked about the release of Paul Ellering. With Cedric Alexander, I said to you guys, we need something a little bit more concrete, because this could have been a man that was just being reflective of his time in WWE and just really appreciative, and maybe just seeing what's been happening around him recently, and he's taking a step back to smell the roses. We need something a little bit more definitive. But if he is a free agent, then wow, you're just thinking about the Hurt Syndicate, and you would like to believe, for sure, AEW bound. And yeah, without a doubt, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, without a doubt, Cedric Alexander and Commander Alexander, Will Ospreay, Action Andrade for sure, Swerve Strickland, yes. I mean, the matchups are just insane. They are just insane. Bring it, I say. We talked about at great length Sonya Deville. We talked about at great length Blair Davenport. And for those that listened to that weekend show, I said, and I quote, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe an Isla Dawn or the girls from the Unholy Union were maybe part of this whole get on the bus. Isla Dawn released by the WWE. She put out a Instagram post, keeping it short and sweet, pretty much letting people know she'll see them in 90 days. Interesting, because we saw her and Alba Fire running around as recently as NXT. They were running the gambit and all that, putting over Lash Legend and was it Jakara Jackson? Wow, just I think that was a bad mistake, letting Isla Dawn go, much like with Blair Davenport. Hell, I love them in the ring. I think, if I'm being honest, because I know we got longtime listeners, and they'll probably remember some of my criticism, particularly when they became champions. And I said, look, they didn't do enough to this was just a spur of the moment. Bam! They're tag team champions. And I had serious issue with that, because I felt that the unholy union was not built up properly and everything. I honestly feel in my heart of hearts, I don't care. Well, I care, but my personal opinion, my take, based off what I saw, I feel that poor booking was at play here with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. There really was not enough done to really help take them to that next level and everything. It's so interesting, because you look at them, and yet you look at Lyra Valkyria and you're going, well, wait a minute. Like, how does this make sense? Because connecting to the crowd and all that, literally, they're on the same level here. So, like, how you feel me? It's like, how she's going to be just fine. She's going to be just fine. Elektra Lopez, I love me some Elektra Lopez. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a huge Carissa Rivera, because let's not forget, we've seen her in the WWE before. You got to rewind it back to when she signed with the WWE. What was that? So she signed with the WWE in 2021, started doing all the stuff with Legado del Fantasma and all that stuff and everything. But even before that, she was coming in years prior as enhancement talent. And she was wrestling under the name Carissa Rivera. And I remember looking at her way back then going, yo, this girl, she's got a really nice look. Like, I can see something like that's definitely marketable. You could definitely do something with that. It's interesting. That's an interesting case with her, because you would have thought with her great looks and the fact that she can speak English very fluently, right? And 'cause she's bilingual, you would have thought for sure that, as far as trying to hit that Latin demographic, WWE would have been figuring out all kinds of cool ways to properly utilize her and everything, especially when they go to areas where, okay, we're going to be dealing with a lot of Latin fans over here. And so from a PR standpoint, definitely, from a live event standpoint, let's really, but they never really made that investment to her. It's very interesting. I remember seeing a handful of her matches in NXT, and I thought she was okay. I wasn't looking for her to be a Charlotte Flair or Bayley or anything like that. I thought she was okay. I felt that I don't know how many of you guys follow the MLW product, but I felt that with her as a manager, she should have been right up there with a Selena De La Renta. She should have been built up almost in a Vicky Guerrero role, so to speak, but it never quite went to those levels. I mean, great eye candy, always came out in extravagant outfits and all that, right? Definitely made the heads turn. I look at a girl like Lola Vice, who is just very quickly adapting, I mean, she is just coming along, and if you want to say, look, this is who we got pretty much replacing Carissa Rivera, aka Electra Lopez. Like, okay, but I definitely feel like they fumbled here with Electra Lopez, without a shadow of doubt. She posted a couple of hours ago, Electra Lopez. She said, "Heard any good news lately? No. Well, make it quick. I've got a packed schedule for the next 90 days." Sands in the hourglass emoji. So she is going to be just fine. Other folks released Giovanni Vinci. Not surprised there. Matter of fact, I could remember saying as early as when they had Ludwig Kaiser beat Giovanni Vinci down. I could remember saying, yo, we probably have seen the last of Giovanni Vinci. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that guy got released. Like, I'm not wishing evil on the brother. I said, I'm just saying. And then remember how they repackaged him? They had him like this, Rick the Model Martel character or whatever. Like, they did all these hype up vignettes of him in this new package. They bust him out and he like lost his first 2 matches or whatever. And like, we never saw the guy again. We never fucking saw the guy. Hilarious shit. Not surprised there. I'm not surprised there. The OC, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. I'm not surprised. Honestly, I thought they were gone from the WWE. So, and those are 2 guys that's probably going to go running right back to TNA. They possibly may go running back to AEW. I'm not surprised. I'm not that's not a surprising, and especially with what WWE is trying to do now, especially with these new younger talents that they got. It's one of those deals where, well, why should I give guys like Carl Anderson and Lou Gallows this X amount of money? They were getting decently paid well in WWE. When you can cut that in half, essentially, if not cut it even more, and give that to a young up and coming pair of talents, right? Fraction of the cost. Not really surprised there. But those are the latest releases that has come about and everything. Shout out to my people that is overseas. You lucky bastards. This is where if you have a VPN, you're good. WWE Netflix News reports that 41 pay-per-views were released on Monday, including the full runs of WWE Armageddon, Insurrection, Vengeance, Great American Bash, Night of Champions, and Payback. Again, there's 41 pay-per-views right now that you can watch in its entirety on Netflix if you live outside of the US. So you might want to play around with a VPN, see if that might be able to help you out. For you toy figure collectors that's out there, there is a new ringside collectible edition of John Cena, You Can't See Me, from Mattel. It's transparent. I love this. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. You guys go check it out when you all get an opportunity. We talked on the weekend edition on Bear Boulder's battery charges, and we went over the affidavit, the arrest report from the arresting officer and everything that he documented, and it was just one of those, oh my God. I don't want to bring all that up again, but I would like to encourage you guys, if you have not, go out of your way and read Bear Bronson's statement on Bear Boulder's battery charges. It was a lengthy statement, but I appreciate the time that he took to address, and like in a nutshell, he talked about how this guy was his groomsman at his wedding. He talked about how up and down on the roads for almost 10 years together, and the news took him by surprise. And he was just stunned. And he lets it be no secret, hey, you hit on your spouse, you beat up on your spouse. That's disgusting. That's wrong. He lets it be no secret which side of history that he's on, what's right, what's wrong, and everything. So go read that statements. Very, very impactful, really good stuff. A lot of podcasts aren't going to be talking about this, but I want to bring this to you all's attention. And y'all may want to actually check out the hearings for this one. If you haven't been checking out the confirmation hearings these past couple of weeks, you might want to watch this one. Linda McMahon, her confirmation this week for Secretary of Education is going to be going down. And, the times that we talk political and everything, this one is going to be very, very interesting, I feel, because here we did bring up on the show how in regards to President Trump's reelection, just for the Make America Great Again for Donald Trump's reelection campaign, Linda McMahon tossed out there $10 million. You heard me right. $10 million just for Trump alone. She donated probably a couple of $1 million to certain congressmen, like those that were up for re-election or whatever. She was spreading money all over the place, but for Trump, she did $10 million. Let's not forget, she had a role on Trump's first term as president, small business administration and all that. So you definitely want to be paying attention to her confirmation hearings this week and everything, because part of it's going to involve her financial disclosure forms, as the lovely Jessica Blake over at Inside Higher Education had wrote here. Check this out. Linda McMahon has earned interest on millions of dollars in bonds issued to dozens of school districts, colleges, state boards, and loan programs, according to the ethics disclosure forms that was released on Friday. McMahon, President Trump's pick to lead the education department, will appear before a key Senate committee Thursday for her confirmation hearing. McMahon and her husband ran the WWE for years, making millions. The lengthy disclosure document shows McMahon's assets, employment agreements, and board positions, among other details. Before a confirmation hearing can be scheduled, political appointees must submit thorough documentation of their financial background to ensure there is no ethical conflict of interest between personal investments and their new role as a civil servant. Stay with me now. This isn't a long-winded. We'll be done in like 3 minutes tops with this. McMahon has agreed to divest all of her education-related interests within 90 days of being confirmed. The magnitude of McMahon's investments and the clear conflict it would cause with her role overseeing federal education may explain why it has taken longer than other nominees to process her clearance review and schedule a hearing. The ethics review documents also note that McMahon will resign from her position on the board of directors for Trump Media and Technology Group, which paid her $18,400 a quarter. In addition to Trump Media, McMahon will be stepping down from her roles as treasurer of the McMahon Family Foundation, director of the Daily News Foundation's Advisory Council, a trustee of Sacred Heart University, and chair of the board at America First Policy Institute, a pro-Trump think tank. It's a lot of hats that she's wearing, yeah? Her education investments include, but are not limited to, $1 to $5 million bonds supporting the University of Arizona, Texas State University, University of California System, and the University of Colorado. She also holds between $1.75 and $6.5 million in bonds for the University of Connecticut, the flagship of her current state of residency. So a lot that's going on in there. I would like to believe that with regards to her role as small business from the first term,
how she poorly managed that is definitely going to be brought up. I would definitely like to believe that what's going on with her husband, who she has not filed a divorce from yet, I would like to believe that is going to come into play. You know, his allegations and what role she had, if anything, and just, even if it's like she's, you know, like, still everything is going to be up for the table at the confirmation hearing. So there's going to be some black eyes put out there left and right. That's going to be interesting to see how she navigates the waters, talking about, you know, that area and every other, where it's like, right, because you would just like to believe that with her doing the $10 million for Trump, and then like in the millions for, you know, the basically Republicans, look, you know, trying to help you win. You know, somebody's going to be like, "Ah, you just basically paid for a seat at the table, right? You might not be the head of the table, but you're paying for a seat at the table." So, like, that alone should look like a kind of a conflict of interest kind of thingamajigga. So pay attention to it. Again, it's going to be happening this Thursday. Other than that, one other note, I thought this was interesting. Undertaker on his podcast, I've been coming around more and more listening to his joint. For those of you that's like, I can't stand the Mark Calloway, I want more of the dead man. Well, he recently talked about what's going on with his current character, and whether or not we could see the dead man returning again. And he pretty much said, in a nutshell, he's let that character, the dead man character, rest in peace. You know, no pun intended. He does not plan on making any appearances as the dead man whatsoever. He likes where he is now, where Mark Calloway and the Undertaker, you know, they've basically morphed, and where he is now, you know, he's having a lot of fun because it sets up great opportunities for him to branch out in other areas that otherwise would not have been accessible to him in previous years. As far as whether or not he would bring the dead man character back, he pretty much said, you know, look, never say never. You know, everybody's got a price, so obviously it's definitely a money thing, right? But you would also like to believe, and he went on record, not for nothing, but he also said, you know, creatively, like, it's gotta make a lot of sense. Like, you know, what is the payoff? And you know, at the same time, he's trying to do his best to honor that work, trying to honor that character. So, you know, in his mind, at least from what he was saying, it definitely would have to add on to the legacy in the most positive way. So, yeah, I definitely think it's something good that you should go out of your way and check out. All right, so another show in the books. We're at about the hour 57 mark. Shout out to friends of the show, Julian Cannon. Can't wait to see his reports and footage there from covering the Super Bowl over the weekend. Shout out to Miss Thomas Joe Numbers of Wrestling Soup. Looking forward to coming by and chatting it up with them this Friday on their SmackDown post show. We're going to be talking SmackDown, also talk about these releases that has come about, talk about them more in depth. I have a feeling there's probably going to be some more names that we're going to be talking about between now and Friday. We shall see. Shout out to all of our sponsors as well. Love you guys tremendously. Make sure you guys go out of your way to represent and check them out. Have all their links available in the episode description of this very episode. Special shout out to my girl, Jessie Jones, aka Jessie Bell. Make sure you are supporting her on her GoFundMe. She is recovering from a double mastectomy, and there was some additional surgery for cancer removal that she had to undergo. So she's going to be out of work out of action for the next couple of months for sure. So every little bit that you guys are able to contribute to her GoFundMe is definitely going to be much appreciated. And if you are hungry and you feel like maybe buying some cookies, go check out Kevin Owens' his daughter is selling Girl Scout cookies. And now look, you can't buy just 1 pack of cookies. You got to buy 4 packs of cookies, which is going to cost you $30. And then you got to think about taxes and the shipping and all that. So if you're going to buy some Girl Scout cookies, it's going to be, look, I love Girl Scout cookies. You give me the little chocolate covered thingamajiggas, the peanut butter things or something peanut butter related. I am sold. Me and the wife, we were running some errands a couple of hours before the Super Bowl. And I was telling her about Kevin Owens' daughter, and she's like, that's just wrong. I'm like, what? That's just wrong using your kid to sell. I was like, hey, can't hate the hustle. She's like, yeah, I guess. And right as we were pulling into the parking lot, because we had to stop at a grocery store, pick up a couple of things, we see this young biracial kid. She runs up to us and she's like, want to buy some Girl Scout cookies? And we looked, we smiled, and we started laughing because we were thinking about, literally we were talking about the whole Kevin Owens thing. And we drive up like, there's a Girl Scout. And we were like, nah, sweetie, we can't right now. We're on the clock. We really didn't have the time. We really didn't. But that was kind of funny and everything. But yeah, go buy some Girl Scout cookies. He's got cookies I've never heard of before, and I'm like, that sounds good. There's one he had a caramel chocolate chip cookies. I've never heard of caramel chocolate chip. No, I'm not lying. I've never heard of caramel chocolate chip cookies. Hey, look, if you got some Girl Scout cookies you wanna bring my way, you pretty sure you got Girl Scout cookies I ain't gonna find nowhere else, hit your brother up. I'll try to work with you and maybe plug you here and there. All right. So we're gonna do another show for you guys later on in the week. I'm not sure when. I know we're under a snow advisory. Ugh, that's all I gotta say. Fucking snow. I can't stand it. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR Show. I am all throughout social media. Hit that YouTube page up, man. I'm telling you, go subscribe and then just go to the RCWR Show live playlist. Just let the episodes play. Go walk, hit it, let it play. Go do some dishes, clean your house, let the episodes play. We want to try to get the everything up, like, watch time, all that good stuff, right? But definitely like the videos, because when you do that, it definitely helps put the content out there to a more wider audience. You feel me? Until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all, and take care.